B9. Home alone while grandma was on a date. Live with grandma, and her parents live on the same street 4 houses down. Be sitting in the living room watching the Pokemon movie, throwing Pokemon cards around everywhere because I wanted to feel like a trainer throwing Pokeballs. Hear a tapping on the glass that faces the backyard. Freeze in place. Look at window and see a figure standing there on the other side. Person breaks glass. Nope the fuck out. Run faster than a Bugatti to my great-grandparents. Tell great-grandpa, and he calls the police. Police show up and look around, check for prints, none, and check the house to see if they're hiding. Cop finds something on my pile of thrown Pokemon cards, shows it to great-grandpa. He begins to cry a bit. Grandma comes home not knowing shit, no cell phones. Police tell her everything, show her what was found on the Pokemon cards. She breaks down and cries. The police leave and we stay with great-grandparents until the next day when the window gets fixed. Grandma replaces all the locks and buys a gun. I don't understand why they're so scared. 2 years later I bring it up and grandma shows me what scared her. It was a picture from inside my closet. The date on the photo was from 2 days before the break-in, and in the photo I can be seen sleeping in my bed. Alright, feel a little silly even writing it down, but here we go. My supernatural encounter. Be me, 17. Dad loves to hunt, always go with him. We've had a real bad string of not getting drawn. After another year of not getting drawn, Dad just buys some expensive tickets to hunt on a local res. Kind of a splurge, but it was on my dad and he could afford it. Super beautiful land. Keep spotting deer all over. No elk, only got tags for elk. I'm okay with it. My favorite part of hunting is just walking around and spending time with my dad. He was a surgeon when I was a kid, so I spent a lot of my childhood not really knowing who he was. He really just came home to eat or sleep. Anyway, we walk around all week, and it runs me ragged. We get to a nice meadow one day, and my dad says he's going to take a nap in the shade. Tells me to keep an eye on the meadow. Elk wander into them all the time. Just chilling out in the beauty when I see some movement. Peek at it through my scope. Just another herd of deer. Take my finger off the trigger. I know, I shouldn't have even put it on the trigger before I knew what I was looking at. I'm safer now. And I just watch him through the scope. A few minutes later, deer scatter, just fucking bolt, absolutely terrified. Weird but neat. Maybe another predator is nearby? Not too worried. My gun is honestly stupidly big, even for elk, mostly just curious. Wait to see more movement. Eventually, I see something move across the clearing. Look through scope at it. It's just another deer. Looks a little bit funny, but not like Fallout bad. Just a little gangly. Moves a little funny too. Deer are real graceful, but this thing just kind of bumbles. Honestly just assumed it was real young or something. It walks a little more into the clearing and then stops. Looks directly at me through the scope. Already a little bit weird. I'm a good 400 meters out and in the shade, and it shouldn't be able to see me and it shouldn't be able to catch any lens glare. Deer rears back on its hind legs, and the front legs just like twist. I've seen deer on their hind legs before, but they can't put their front legs at their sides like humans can. This fucking thing does. Posture still isn't human because deer don't have a center of weight like that, but it can put its fucking hooves at its side and it just stands there and looks at me. Then it bolts across the clearing. Even then it's on 2 legs. Even though it looks ridiculous, it's moving way faster than any normal deer. If I had to eyeball it, I'd say this freak hit 30-ish. Get a long period to look at it. 20 seconds at least. It's got that super forward-leaning sprint of sprinters, but it's a deer on 2 legs. It's not moving towards me, it's just headed across the clearing. I don't know why I didn't shoot it. I think part of my brain was still worried about the elk versus deer tag thing. Sounds really dumb saying it out loud, but I wasn't really worried. I was just baffled and kind of grossed out. After it's gone, I tell my dad about it. He thinks I must have hallucinated it. I had only slept for about 4 hours a night for the last 3 nights. I was a major insomniac in high school, and sleeping anywhere but my house made it a lot worse. We walk out to the meadow to look for footprints. All we find is a pair of prints from where I saw it on 4 legs. Nothing from the 2-legged stage. Only weird detail is that the areas that it went through had a weird smell that both me and my dad noticed. Like old pennies and bleach. It was weird. I'm an atheist, so I generally don't put a lot of stock in the supernatural, but I gotta admit, that night shook me up. Weird shit. This one is an urban legend me and my friends used to listen to when we were little. Old woman has a fruit garden. Lives by herself. Husband died a couple years back. Sons are in another city. Lives beside a mountain range. She starts calling the police because apparently aliens come down from the mountain and start eating her fruit. Multiple times. Every time the police arrives, nothing to be found. Fuck it, she's crazy, ignore her. One night there's screaming and noises coming from her backyard. Neighbors get weirded out. They go to her house. They go around the house into her garden. There they found the old lady standing. There's a big stick in her hand, literally trying to kill what is described as a weird combination between a praying mantis the size of a big cat and a rat. Nope.jpg. Everyone gets the fuck out. Old woman dragged by force. The police were called. Then again, nothing to be found, but this time there are multiple witnesses. They spend the rest of the night in the front yard to see if they catch anything. Old lady doesn't stop saying, "I told you," and laughing. Not my story. Something a Native American guy posted a while ago, but it's some of the creepiest shit I've ever heard. My dad picks me up from school in his pickup truck after he got off work one winter's night. We were driving on a long stretch of road that goes through the woods. It's pitch black outside. The truck radio didn't work, so I was just sitting, staring straight out at the road, getting hypnotized by the passing trees. Suddenly, I started to get an intense sensation that something is watching me through the window to my right. I started to turn my head to see what it is when my dad yells, "Don't look!" Immediately start to hear tapping on the window right next to my face. Heart stops. Only time I ever saw fear on my dad's face. He started to pray loudly in Navajo. Stare straight ahead, heart pounding, not daring to look out the window. Suddenly the truck dips as a weight falls into the bed. Whatever the fuck this thing is, it's in the back right behind my head. Start to hear tapping on the window behind me. My father makes me look at him as he continues to pray. Close my eyes tight and wish for it to be over. After a few endless minutes, the truck dips again and the tapping stops. My father says, "Tomorrow we will ask your grandfather to say a prayer so the evil will forget our faces." English to Navajo equivalent. Drive home and lie awake in bed all night. Father and I never talk about it again. Alright, I've got a story. This one is personal, and it happened to me about 8 years ago. It isn't some made-up campfire story, but I'd figure that I'll still post it here since this thread is empty. I'm a pretty slow typer, so this might take me a while. Be me, 16. Working as a farmhand during the summer to make some extra cash. I get room and board, so I also live on the farm at this time. This is in Nebraska, by the way. Anyways, the first 3 weeks go by smoothly. Simple but tedious work. One day, the farmer, his name is John, comes up to me. John says, "Hey Anon, I think someone is fucking around in the field at night. I've found some corn stalks trampled, torn up, and thrown all over the place for the past 2 days. Do you think you can just watch the field tonight and make sure no one comes back? Accept quest.png." Kinda excited for guard duty, and really excited that I get tomorrow off. Later that night, before I head out to the field, John gives me his shotgun. Tells me to, if I see them, just scare them off, don't shoot at anyone unless I absolutely have to, and that he'll come running if he hears a shot. Yeehaw.png. Sit on lawn chair next to the field. I do a couple rounds, get bored real quick. About halfway through the night, I hear giggling coming from the corn. The sound of children giggling. 3 spooky, 5 me. Eventually work up the nerve to walk up to the edge of the field, shotgun in hand, and yell in my best intimidating voice. "Y'all leave here and never come back, or there'll be trouble." There's a little bit of rustling and the giggling stops. Work up even more nerve, and decide to go in, rustle up the corn to make sure they left. I don't hear anyone giggling anymore. In fact, I don't hear anything anymore. No bugs, no wind, nothing. Dead silence. Hoping to not get children of the corn, I get out of there, praying that the child giggling didn't start back up. I make it out of the cornfield, and still not hearing any giggling, I take it that whoever was in there ran off. I didn't check the entire field, but whatever. Adequacy achieved. Dawn comes and I see John. I tell him what I heard, and we walk through the field together. Everything seems fine. I go back to the house to take a much-needed rest. Wake up that afternoon, head downstairs. John is outside talking to the sheriff. John's wife tells me that while the field was fine, someone snuck into the barn and killed one of the cows. Go out, talk to John and the sheriff about what I heard. Go see the cow for myself. Full-scale mutilation. Drained of all blood, missing eyes and organs. Precision surgical cuts all over the body. The sheriff is lost. He asks us if we knew anyone who could have done this. Lamaus.png. John pipes up and through some sort of Olympian-level mental gymnastics says that it's still probably just some asshole kids. The sheriff and I are less convinced. Regardless, the sheriff takes his word for it and leaves. John tells me that we are both going to do a stakeout tonight, with me watching the cornfield and him watching the barn. Seems like a bad idea, but okay. That night, I take the shotgun and he takes the rifle, and we both report to our designated places. I've got a bad feeling about this. I sit on my lawn chair and wait. Hours later, giggling starts back up. The corn starts rustling. I, very timidly, yell out for whoever was there to identify themselves. Instantly regret that. Out of the corn stalks walks a 7-foot-tall hominid with antlers, a very bestial-looking face with a snout, what appeared a shit-eating grin, large claws, and with occasional spike jutting out of seemingly random places on its body. Oh god, oh fuck. Fire a shot at it in fear, fall over in my lawn chair, pick myself up and start booking it to the barn. We're talking Usain Bolt levels of speed here. Still, I can hear the thing chasing after me. I trip in a gopher hole. Fucking gophers. I kinda just go into a fetal position and start screaming. Not my proudest moment. I can hear John finally get his ass out of the barn and start yelling, and start firing some shots. I black out. Wake up the next morning in the house with John, his wife, his daughter, and the sheriff all standing over me. John told the sheriff that some random schmuck attacked me. I tell the sheriff that it was dark and I couldn't ID the guy, so he just leaves. Once I'm feeling better, John takes me out back and confirms I'm not crazy. He says that once he got out of the barn, he saw the creature on all fours, leaning over me. He yelled and fired 6 shots at it, before it got back up on 2 legs and ran through the field into the nearby woods. Oddly enough, his description was different than mine, in that he said the creature had a bumpy/bulbous head instead of an animal-like snout. After this, we search the farm for any clues. We find a white, viscous liquid all over the property. Assume it's some kind of blood. After this, we go into full alert mode. No being out after dusk, always carrying guns, etc. No more problems for the rest of the summer. I'm still in contact with John today. He's a bit touchy on the issue, but claims that he has never seen the creature again, although he will occasionally hear something pacing around the farm at night. Does anyone know what this could be? I'll try to sketch a picture in a minute, but I'm pretty bad at drawing. Here is the best drawing I could make. Mind you, I couldn't see the feet very well, and in hindsight, the antlers were certainly longer, but besides those things, this is fairly accurate. (1988) B8. B Mexican American. Spending summer in Mexico. Dad warned me since childhood it's dangerous to be out in the fields or in the graveyards alone, especially at night. Grew a childhood fear of magic being real and alive in Mexico and elsewhere. Out in the countryside and it's dark out, no electricity, only oil lamps, and I didn't know how to work one, so just hanging out on the front porch in the moonlight. Hear bugs being kinda loud. Louder than usual, actually. Hear steps. More than one person. Very close. There's no way I couldn't hear them sooner, when they were farther. Look around panicking. No voices, no banter, just shuffling. Gets louder. Sounds like a fucking mob. Get up and run inside. Trip a few times, psyching myself out, thinking I was suddenly in a horror movie and every stumble meant death. Close and lock the door. Grab the fireplace poker that lies next to the doorway and run into my room. Close the door. No lock. Window facing moon. The room is pretty well lit to adjusted eyes. Facing door for a long time with poker over shoulder like a baseball bat, hear nothing. Feel slightly at ease. Walk over to bed. About to let myself fall onto it. Look out of window at last moment. A lady draped in a headscarf peering in. Land on bed. Feel super vulnerable and jolt. Let go of poker. She remained staring at me. She started showing her teeth. Not smiling. What the shit? A guy with a beard comes from the other side, whispering to her. Notices her staring in. Turns to window. Sees me. Starts baring his teeth too. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Too scared to shout. Everyone else in house still asleep. He lifts up his hand and starts pressing and inspecting the window, lightly banging on it. Looks like he's going to open it. What do? Holding my breath. Pretty much just waiting for him to open or break the window like a pussy. Think these people are going to get in, drag me by my ankles all the way to hell. Remember poker. Fuck common sense. Pick it up and run to the window. Smash poker into the pane closest to the guy. Close eyes reflexively from glass and noise. Open them. Both people gone. Not a sound other than the wind getting in and crickets being loud. Lights turn on in the house. Dad and Uncle come into my room, ask why the door is closed. Ask what I have been doing. See the window. Dad flips out. Dad starts shouting at me. Ask me what was I thinking. Tell him in English that there were people outside staring at me. His eyes go wide and he shuts up. Uncle confused. No speaks English. My dad grabs me by the elbow and shouts at Uncle to gather everybody in the kitchen. Dad mutters something really quick. Uncle shouts at everyone to wake up, get up, hurry up, etc., etc. Of 10 family members, 6 end up in the kitchen. The other 4, Dad plus Uncle plus 2 old cousins, go out with a hunting rifle and an old service revolver and a couple shovels. They are gone for 10 minutes, which is a super long time when trying to tell Mom and other females what happened. Gossip occurs and shit-eating aunt who likes to rile us up tells us kids it was the Urana and her husband. La Urana is no joke. Me and young girl cousin legit scared at that point. Mom and other aunt tell her off, say that's overboard. Guys return back. Nothing. They'll look again in the morning, but nothing was stolen. No cars or tools or chickens or anything. We all decide to stay up. Fuck sleeping. Coffee and bread are passed around and ideas are exchanged about what that shit may have been. Thieves come up. Spirits come up. Again, La Llorona comes up. Skinwalkers even come up. Sun comes up. The whole family goes out and checks everything. Blood outside my window. Uncle missed it. My mom audibly worries. Go on with day. Nothing else happens as we stay for a few more nights. Uncle and cousin and dad alternate guard duty. Except on the last night. Newspaper brought from the nearest big town warns country folk about marauding bands of hyper-poor people. They break into barns and farmhouses and kill the owners, take as much shit as they can carry, and leave back to somewhere in the hills. There's a dozen people from a couple farmhouses dead already. Only a native farmhand who killed an intruder and drove himself to his town lived long enough to say what happened, but a shitty doctor couldn't keep him alive. Apparently, that was my dad's first and only guess as to who those people were. I asked him about it years later and asked what he told my uncle that night. My face when he said I saw gitanos and my uncle instantly knew what to do. I look up what gitanos are in English. Gypsies. This is one of the scary instances that happened to me. Be 20-something. Metalhead with metalhead friends. North California, East Bay area before everything went to complete shit in that state. We all liked to party and being in the Tri-Valley area there was fuck all to do. We made things interesting now and then and would find weird spots to get fucked up. One night, bored of getting fucked up at bro's house, decide to go somewhere and get shit-faced. One metalhead bro says he knows of an abandoned mine out on Tesla Road. We all agree, gather up bros and broettes, about 8 of us, grab beers, weed, flashlights and head out. Drive up in the hills. The area around the Altamont Pass is always windy. Always. That's why there's so many windmills. Fucking wind howling that night. Brush and scraggly trees being bent this way and that. Blasting Slayer / Megadeth / Metallica as we drive. It takes a good half hour to get to the destination. Park cars here and pile out. Metal Bro says no flashlights as it's private property and the light would be seen. Hop the gate and start walking between the hills. Shit is creepy out here. Wind howling between the brown grassy mounds. Clouds making flickering shadows. Light altering between bright to dark as they rip across the sky. Exit between 2 hills and a rolling valley opens up. Way off in the distance is the only man-made light from a distant building. Walk along a dirt path that rounds to the right. About half a mile of walking. What the fuck, Metal Bro? You didn't say we'd have to walk this fucking far. Lazyasses.jpg. Distinct feeling of isolation and can literally feel the distance between where we're at and where the cars are parked. Fuck, hope nothing happens. As we round the bend, a pit opens up down the path with old mine trailings piled up. Face of a large hill is scarred from early 1900s mining operations. Old abandoned equipment stands alone in the pit where the trailings are. Metal Bro says nope, entrance we need is up the face a bit. Walk up a narrow path above the pit. When we get up to the top of the trail, Metal Bro points. That's our entrance? What the fuck? .png. Tiny opening we have to crawl through to get inside the mine. Everyone including bitches crawling in. I follow. Flashlights on. Big cave with tons of graffiti inside. Empty beers everywhere. Towards the back, 2 paths lead out of the main chamber. One to the left and one to the right. Right side is a vertical descent straight down. Old wooden ladder with broken rungs. Left side is another large opening with a narrow trail around the circumference. The middle is filled with debris that slopes down into a pit on one side, like an antlion pit. Proceed to get shit-faced. Beers drank, weed smoked. Maybe 45 minutes pass. Having good time. Hear noise. Not from the entrance. From deeper inside the cave. Fuck, what was that? Everyone looking at each other nervously. Silence descends. The mood goes from party central to stone cold sober. Hear another noise. 2 brave or stupid bros decide they're going to go look. Okay, have fun with that. Can't go down ladder. No fucking way to. Would be suicide for sure. They take the left path. Watch as the 2 idiots walk the narrow path around the antlion pit. Their flashlights disappear as they reach the far side and continue on into another part of the mine. The rest of us are silent, looking at each other. Moaning noise, not even remotely human. It came from the vertical shaft, almost positive. Cave with previously still air suddenly has movement. Can feel a very slight, very cold breeze. Can hear bros coming back. Fast. More noises heard. Not just the noise of bros' shoes as they're coming back, but other noises. Like something moving. Following after them. Oh fuck this shit, .move. Bros say, get the fuck out. Cramming through tiny opening to get back outside. Wind screaming. Clouds covering most of the sky, hardly any light. All of us are out. We're running back down the road. Look behind. Something shadowy emerges from the mine entrance. Jesus fuck .html. We're all running as fast as we can. The lights in the building way in the distance are off now. Car can be seen on the road where the building is, heading towards us, moving slowly but with purpose. We round the hill, hop the gate and get in the cars, firing up the engines. Something is there, between the hills, a ways back from the gate. Holy shit, drive! I can see a soft glow as the headlights from the vehicle that was driving up the path start to illuminate the side of the hill. The dark thing looks like it turns its head towards the direction the vehicle is coming, then darts up the right side of the hill into the darkness. Fucking haul ass out of there. No music on the way back. We're all silent. Bitches are shaking and almost in tears. Get back to bro's house. We all just look at each other for a few minutes, then call it a night. To this day, we still don't know what it was or why it was chasing us. We never went back to that place again. I still think of that night whenever the clouds are tearing across the sky in front of the moon. Be me. Driving back down road with my friend at night. Anon, I gotta take a shit. Can you pull up somewhere? Pull up to gas station out in fucking nowhere. Friend rushes into station. Stay out in small lot right next to the station. Start fucking around on my phone. Flick lighter a few times. Movement out of the corner of my eye. Snap to attention fucker.jpg. I don't see anything but blackness. Hairs stand up on end. Jesus Christ, friend, take a shit and let's fucking go. Look in rearview mirror. See friend. Finally, .wave. Look at him closer. His face doesn't seem normal. Something is very wrong. He gets in the car. He's completely silent. I'm worried as hell. I suddenly get a text. Jump in my seat. It's my friend that just texted me. He's asking if I want anything from the store. Whoever is in my car, it's not my friend. Announce I have to piss. Get out of car slowly. Sprint to the store. Run up to my friend who is browsing the gum. Explain there is someone in our car as I panic. We both drop our shit and run outside. No one is in the car, and the door is open. We slide into my car and peel out in the parking lot. I haven't gone back to that place since, and nothing like that has happened since.